the AI-171 air crash is concerned, what we are learning is parts of the cockpit voice recorder have been recovered from the crash site. And remember, this is the second black box that has now been recovered, which will be crucial evidence for the ongoing investigation. Remember, this is one air crash that has already taken international dimensions because of the sheer magnitude of the air crash, not to forget the number of foreign nationals that were aboard this flight AI-171. But in big breaking inputs coming in, parts of the cockpit voice recorder have been recovered. What we can tell you is that earlier the flight data recorder had also been recovered, and in the latest breaking inputs coming in on the ongoing investigation of this AI-171 air crash, we can tell you that the CVR has been located and secured. Those images coming in show the CVR, the cockpit voice recorder, being located and recovered. These are the first images of this black box component. Two black box components was in fact being located, and this is the second one that has finally been located, what we can tell you. And as we all know, there are parallel investigations happening right now, not just at the center and state level, but also we have the Boeing getting involved, the FAA, apart from the AAIB, which has launched a detailed investigation. Much of it has intensified, and the US National Transportation Safety Board, or the NTSB, is conducting a parallel probe under the international protocols, since, remember, the aircraft make is that of Boeing, an American brand. But what we can tell you is that the cockpit voice recorder has been recovered. This is a very significant recovery, given that it will be helping the entire investigation to piece together those crucial moments before the takeoff. It is the discussion in the cockpit that took place, what exactly transpired between both the pilots, what were they discussing. Remember, they had sent off a mayday call where they had also signaled that there was a lack of thrust, eventually leading to that catastrophic air crash, all in a matter of just 33 seconds. Arunima joins us with more inputs. Arunima, after the FDR, now the cockpit voice recorder being recovered, how significant is this going to be now in terms of a credible evidence to be able to piece together moments before that crash?
See, the image of the cockpit voice recorder that we have managed to access exclusively shows that it has completely turned black. Even though it is called black box, we know by now that it is a bright orangely painted equipment, and it is painted so bright so that you can easily locate it. But it has been charred completely. From the top of it, if you see these pictures, it has been charred completely. So what is the extent of damage that has been done to the equipment itself? If this data is still recoverable or not, that's the first question. Even though this equipment is made in a way that it is quite sturdy, it is meant to withstand impact, withstand heat, withstand pressure of water as well. But yet, what we are talking about here is a fire which raged on for hours together. Aviation fuel, which was 1.25 lakh litre, that was what caused the fire. This kind of heat, how much of the data is still safe? If the data is completely safe, then this is a huge positive step for the aviation investigators, because like you said, it would give them an insight into that last 30 seconds to 45 seconds. What was the conversation between the pilot and the co-pilot? Did they sense something was wrong at the point of takeoff itself? Did they have any conversation within themselves about the reason that there was no power, no thrust? Because that's what the pilots told the ATC, mayday, 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 no power, no thrust, going down. Did they have any communication amongst themselves in the cockpit for the reason? Was there a bird hit? Could they sense a mechanical failure, or was there a human lapse? It's very crucial, this piece of evidence that has been recovered.
When you talk about the cockpit voice recorder, also not to forget the FDR, which was recovered earlier as well. If you could, help us differentiate between what the FDR does and the CVR, and how they could together bring in some very crucial inputs on the entire investigation.
So the flight data recorder was recovered on day 2 itself. It was found on the tail end of the aircraft on the roof of the hostel mess. The flight data recorder would perhaps help the investigators understand the circumstances in which this Dreamliner had taken off. As far as data from the radar is concerned, the weather condition is concerned, the overall, other data on which a flight, depends upon. There has been a lot of speculation about the heat. I have to tell you, the heat in Ahmedabad is unbearable. It is hot, it is humid, and even on the day of the crash, it was that bad. It was 40 plus degrees centigrade, and aviation experts have been telling me that in that kind of a heat, the air actually thins out. So to take that lift, when you are taking off, to take that lift, if the air is thinning out, your power need will increase, your engine will need more power. So what was that surrounding circumstance like when this Dreamliner was taking off? All that data the FDR could provide. The cockpit voice recorder, which is the second part of what is commonly called as the black box, the cockpit voice recorder could give an insight, like we said, into the last minute conversation that was happening between the pilot and the co-pilot. The ATC at Ahmedabad airport did not get any chance to communicate with the pilot. He just said within 30 seconds of takeoff, Mayday, and then it crashed without ATC getting a chance to communicate back. But was there any kind of exchange of words between the pilot and the co-pilot? Was that recorded in the CVR? That is the key answer that the investigators are seeking.
A host of questions that still remain unanswered. We are hoping that the CVR and the FDR recordings, if they are accessed, can piece together.
Network 18 is now the clear leader in digital media, with 55% more users on native platforms and social media than Times Internet. Network 18, the undisputed leader of news networks, way ahead of the times.